In this video, we're going to go through the pros and the cons of living in Nashville, Tennessee. So whether you're looking to move here, whether you already live here or know somebody that's looking to move here, then this video is for you. And make sure you stay until the end because we're going to go through a pro and a con at the end that might actually surprise you. So stay tuned. What's up guys, my name is Casey Gibson with Realty One Group right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And if this is your first time to the channel, we make videos on eating, breathing, sleeping, living, anything to do, working, playing in Nashville, Tennessee. So if that's what you're interested in and you want to learn more about that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and then tap that little notification bell as well and you'll get notified when we do a new video. So honestly guys, we're getting so many calls, emails, text messages from people all over the place looking to move or relocate here to Nashville, Tennessee, and we love helping people find the perfect spot. Now the only way we can help you find the perfect spot is if you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, or weekends, and we got your back when moving to Nashville, Tennessee. So guys, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of living here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to be totally 100% upfront with you and tell you some of the bad sides, you know, the ugly sides of living here, but I'm also going to tell you some of the good sides as well. I don't want to be one of those videos that are just giving you all the good stuff, the sunshine and rainbows, and leaving out all that bad stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now the first con on the list is allergies. Nashville is actually one of the top places for seasonal allergies. There's a lot of pollen during the seasons. So if you, now I don't have allergies myself, I know a lot of people who do. If you're one of those people who have allergies, definitely, you know, take the proper precautions and remedies that are going to help that, because that is definitely one of the cons of Nashville. So pro number one for Nashville is definitely going to be the fact that we have 4 seasons. We have a fall, winter, spring, summer, and that allows you to go outside and experience the outdoors. We have a lot of parks, my favorite being Centennial Park. It's a funny story, I actually proposed to my wife Beth at Centennial Park and it just rained that day, and whenever I got on one knee to propose, she told me to get up because I was getting my pants dirty. And but it's a very beautiful place and great place to go walk around. That's where the Parthenon is. You can go check out the Parthenon, which has the Athena statue, which is one of the tallest indoor statues in the country, I believe. And we also have a Nashville Zoo, so you can go check out the Nashville Zoo. I like to go check out the kangaroos because I love kangaroos. But yeah, definitely the 4 seasons and the amount of options that you have outdoors, definitely a pro for Nashville. So that kind of brings me into con number 2, which is Nashville's summers. And summers get pretty hot. I mean, to us now, if you're coming from an area that is just like extremely hot, then you may get here and think we're a bunch of babies. But man, I'm telling you, summer gets so hot, and also the winters can get pretty cold as well for a couple of months. So it's a pretty extreme change in temperatures. So that's definitely one of the cons for Nashville. So that brings us to pro number 2, which is going to be subjective depending on where you're coming from, where you're moving from. But people in Tennessee and Nashville, they tend to be really friendly and really nice. So if you're walking down the street, people are going to wave at you, say hello for the most part. People aren't going to be honking at you in the roads. You've probably heard it referred to as Southern hospitality, and it's going to be completely different than in like New York City or Miami, and where, you know, people are just honking like crazy. I was driving through Miami one time and people were just like laying on their horns, and up here in Nashville we don't even use our horns for the most part. But yeah, it's totally different. So definitely people are nicer, and there's a certain hospitality that is here that is not in a lot of other places. Now that brings me to con number 3, which is the humidity, which we kind of touched on con number 2. The summers get so hot and humid, it is insane. Now you may be coming from somewhere with more humidity and it not like you be used to it, but if you're not used to the humidity, it can about kill you, I'm telling you. I've lived here almost my whole life, and I still, every time it comes around, I'm just like, goodness. But yeah, the humidity is definitely something that is a con, and definitely something you want to know about. Now, pro number 3 is one of my favorites, and it's the food and the coffee, particularly the food and the coffee shops in Nashville. We have tons of coffee shops all around. Each one has its own little different vibe. Lots of locally owned restaurants and coffee shops, and the food is, oh my gosh, it's nothing like Southern cooking. You know, you got the good fried chicken, the hot chicken and waffles. Oh my gosh, it is so good. Biscuits and gravy. You haven't had good biscuits and gravy until you've had it in the South, but it's definitely a pro. Definitely one of my favorites. If you love to eat and have good food, then you're definitely gonna love the restaurants here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, con number 4 is something you definitely wanna know about. And what that is the potholes on the roads and on the interstates. When you're driving down the road, you wanna make sure you keep your eyes out. There's some areas that are worse than others, but you definitely wanna make sure you're keeping your eyes out for those potholes. Some of them are pretty deep, so you could bust your tire, you know, mess your vehicle up. But they have plans to go fill those in, and I think they're working on that right now. So by the time you come, depending on when you see this video, when you're coming, they could be gone for the most part. But it's definitely something to be aware of, because you know, you could bust a tire, something could happen. But that is definitely con number 4. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content so far, and if you're liking the pros and the cons of Nashville, go ahead and tap that like button. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton, and let us know what videos you would like to see in the future. Now, pro number 4, and there would be no pros and cons list of Nashville without this one, and that has got to be Nashville's legendary music scene. Not only are you going to see tons of great music, a lot of musicians and artists move to Nashville to help to launch their careers and get into the industry. There's a lot of people in the music industry in Nashville, but you're also going to see tons of historic music. They have museums like the Johnny Cash Museum, tons of historic things that you can go check out. And also, when you go into the bars on Broadway, you'll see a lot of times local bands playing either covers of popular songs, and they're very talented, or you'll see some songs that they wrote and you may have never heard before. And it's not just country music. There's all kinds of great music depending on where you go, and it's live music. I love live music personally, but if you enjoy music at all, then you're gonna love that part of Nashville. So for con number 5, it's actually our pro number 5 as well. It's pro and con number 5, and that's the traffic. The reason it's pro and con is it's all subjective. It depends on where you're coming from and what you're used to. The traffic, if you ask anybody that's lived in Nashville for a long time, like me, they're gonna say, man, this traffic is getting ridiculous, because as Nashville grows and more people move there, obviously the traffic is going to increase. But if you ask somebody from Miami or Atlanta or New York City, they're gonna be like, why are you guys whining? This traffic isn't even that bad. So it's definitely subjective. Definitely something that you want to know about is the traffic, and it's our pro and con number 5. Now, con number 6 could actually be considered a pro too, but that is we're gonna put it on the cons list. And what it is it's the tourism in Nashville. It's one of the hottest spots, especially for bachelorette parties. You know, anytime I'm in Nashville, I see a bachelorette party. Pretty much every single time I'm in the city, I see one. Now, the reason I say it could be a positive is all that tourism actually helps Nashville's economy and helps the growth. So it's actually good on that end. But if you're somebody who doesn't like being in an area where there's tons of tourism, then it could be a con for you, which is why I added it to the list. All right, guys, now to pro number 6, and that is Nashville Airport. Now, the reason I put that on the pros list is Nashville, it's obviously very close to the city. You can get there very quickly, and it's an international airport, so you can go pretty much anywhere in the world from there. So you don't have to travel miles and miles and hours to get to the airport. It's super close, it's international, so definitely a pro to put on the list, especially if you travel. So con number 7 is transportation. And what I mean by that is we don't have any type of mass transit system in Nashville. We do have a kind of a bus system where you can use, but it's not as efficient. We have obviously Uber and Lyft. We have the electric scooters that you can hop on and use the app to go right around. But in terms of a mass transit, like a subway or anything, we don't have that. So pretty much in Nashville, you're going to need your own vehicle. And if you're coming from somewhere right now that you don't have a vehicle because you use the mass transit, then that could be something to consider when you're looking to move to Nashville. Definitely going to need a vehicle unless you're living like right beside your work, but you probably still want a vehicle to go other places. You don't want to just work home, right? So that's con number 7. So pro number 7 is the fact that in Nashville, there's always something to do. And what I mean by that is we have concerts, festivals that are happening all the time. You can go watch the Titans play. You can watch the Predators play. You could go to one of the many parks that we have, go enjoy the nightlife, to one of the great restaurants, the bars. I mean, the live music. I mean, you name it. Nashville is full of things to do so that you can have fun and be entertained, hang out with your friends, and just have an all-around great time all the time. Con number 8 is the parking. And similar to the reason why traffic is getting kind of more congested, the parking is getting harder and harder to get when you go into the city because more and more people are moving to Nashville and the high rates of tourism that we have. So like I said before, you'll probably need or at least want to get your own vehicle. But when you actually go downtown or anywhere in Nashville, parking a lot of times can be hard to find. And sometimes it just makes more sense to get an Uber or a Lyft. But if you know some spots, then maybe you can get some parking. So it's not really too big of a con, to be honest, but unless it's during one of the big events, like if you're going to a Titans game or something, then it gets kind of congested. But for the most part, it's not too bad. It probably will get kind of worse as Nashville fills up with more people because we're still growing like crazy. There's 100 people a day move into Nashville, so something to look out for sure. Now, pro number 8 is Nashville has some great schools, some of the best. We have great public schools. We have great universities like Vanderbilt, Belmont. So definitely if you have children, you have a family, or if you're looking to have children, you can look at each one of those schools, find out some of the pros and the cons of those. And we'll do videos later on those as well. So you can check back on our channel to get a more in-depth look at those. But we do a lot of the schools, most of the schools are extremely great. So it's definitely not a hard choice to make. So con number 9 is something that I touched on a little bit before, but it's the fact that there's about 100 or more people moving to Nashville, Tennessee every single day. And why is that a con, you may ask? That's a good thing, right? Well, it is a great thing. Nashville is growing at a massive rate, and people, the jobs are good. And the reason it's a con is because as more people move in, traffic's going to get worse, and parking is going to get worse. And also the houses here go so quick. I was talking to some agents in my office the other day, and the new construction they're working with, they sell out on this new construction before they're even ready, and have a waiting list of people to buy these homes because they literally cannot build enough new homes fast enough to supply the demand for the people that are wanting to move here. So if you're looking to move to Nashville, Tennessee, you're definitely gonna experience the effects of that. A lot of times these houses will have like 15 to 20 offers on them in a short amount of time. So you'll experience it, and yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing depending on which side of it you're on. So that is con number 9. So pro number 9 is the fact that companies are following suit with people coming in. So not only are people coming into Nashville, but companies are as well. We have some big companies here already. We have not Nashville. We have AT&T, we have Amazon, tons of other small businesses. And from what I hear, there's other big companies looking to move to and expand in Nashville. That's good, obviously for economic reasons, but also for creating jobs, especially since our population is increasing so much, so fast. The fact that we have jobs increasing as well is definitely going to help in the future and in the present really. But yeah, that's definitely pro number 9. Alright guys, so we specialize in helping people move and relocate here to Nashville, Tennessee, and we would love to help you find the perfect spot as well. The only way we can help you though is if you give us a call, shoot us an email, send us a text, days, nights, weekends, anytime. We would love to help you, love to speak with you and help you find that perfect spot. And as always, we got your back when moving to Nashville, Tennessee. So until the next video, I will see you later.